Hello, my dear Americans, my fellow Americans. Sorry, I'm not American. But what I want to tell you, what's on my mind the whole day after this great show that the news companies are making now. And yeah, this is unbelievable. Still today, they managed to sell shit to people, and it's unbelievable. America is a trendsetter for half of the world actually to believe what shit they say, but they losing the game now faster and faster. They could make this game decades ago, and the game is simple, called lying to the people for making money, because of making money, or however you like it. So, Colonial Pipeline, Bitcoin, Colonial Pipeline hacking, and the security of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all this stuff. It's still unbelievable. I can't still believe it that a few news companies that get everything wrong the last 20 years and more and lie about almost everything that possible is they just lie the shit out of it. I mean, not some small stories, whatever, blah blah. I mean, about big stories, about war, about terrorism, about where to start. Yeah, about almost everything they get, especially about the coronavirus that was not from the laboratory level 4 biohazard, and that they didn't make a mistake. It was from the animal and meat market next uh, down the street. Actually, it was not a special about military degree laboratory. It was the market on the street where the deadly coronavirus was made between Batman and some other animal, and jumped to people and killed and contained, and all the trouble the last the last 2 years. I paid this with 2 deaths. My father died of corona, and my aunt died of corona, and yeah. And now they telling all of a sudden, after Trump was telling, yeah, it was the Chinese laboratory, uh, it was probably something happened there. They bashed him for this, and now all of a sudden, ooh, stories, emails, blah blah blah. You know, you can't press shit down because shit has the tendency to come up again to the surface, like it does now, faster and faster. The internet, the whistleblowers are faster, everything is faster, so it's getting harder and harder to made up stories and to keep them for very long, like this. But there is the other thing that people do forget about. They forget very fast stuff that happened, and life goes on, and probably in a week or two everybody forgets what happened, except the coronavirus that kept them at home for a year or something like this. So what I want to tell you, the drop of Bitcoin and Colonial Pipeline. So this unbelievable hacker group, hacker whatever, what's the name, dark side, hacked Colonial Pipeline, that lost control over the, I think, east side of USA, whatever, blah blah blah, and you know all the story what happened, and now all of a sudden they had to pay the money to the bad hackers that are from Russia, from where else than from Russia. So they paid an incredible amount of money, $4 million. this this incredible amount of money of $4 million in Bitcoin, the three letter agencies managed to get back the half of it. How did they do that? They did it with digital fingerprinting. So the FBI, NSA, CIA intern did it. Got the solution probably. This whole story is such a bullshit. This is so made up. This is for a cheap Hollywood movie, but if you put a better writer in there, a good director, and lots of money, maybe you can make a good movie out of this, starring, who do you like? George Clooney as one of the specialists from the good side, and who's going to be the bad guy or guys? Yeah, some random Russian guys. So cut a long story short. I really laughed. I was like, the whole day one bullshit follows the other bullshit, follow it by the next bullshit, and the bullshit pumps like CNN and all the other Bloomberg and whatever news companies are pumping shit like hell. Why do they pump shit like hell? First of all, if you go back in 2016, November 2016, the famous Wall Street Journal reported about Colonial Pipeline. Some worker, there was some accident there. I think there was also one death there. The whole infrastructure of Colonial Pipeline and all these pipelines is like 50 years old. It's so old, it's crumbling. It really falls apart. And now a hack, but let me get later to this hack, stopped all of a sudden this pipeline, and they holding. So if you look at the picture, so they stopped half of the USA getting petrol, and they request $4 million. They request $4 million in Bitcoin to release the IT infrastructure so it can work again. Oh my god. Whole $4 million. I'm laughing. What was this movie with Mike Myers? This comedy. Oh my god, what's the name of it? My brain is stopped again. My brain stopped working. Like when the evil. Oh, let me check. Give me a minute. I got it. It's from the movie Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. So we hacked the pipeline, the most important, not most important, but a very important pipeline of half of the America, USA, and we hold it ransom for $4 million. We'll request for in Bitcoin. Oh my god. You see the parodying this. I think whoever made the story up and made those $4 million up, the guy probably watched Austin Powers and like, no, we're going to request $4 million. Because 1 million would be funny, too funny, and 4 million, it looks a bit more, but I think whoever made up this story just want to put a bit a bit humor, a bit fun, a Easter egg, or I don't know, a meme. $4 million. We're holding about a billion worth of, or I don't know, a few billion worth of infrastructure, oil and problem, whatever, and we request $4 million. Come on, people, you don't believe this shit. And now there was this press conference like, yeah, we got them, we retrieved 2 million back. And I don't know. Okay, probably they run the on some Windows, the pipeline is running on some Windows system NT, like the most what's the name, the most ATMs still work on Windows NT 4.0 or something like this too, but I don't know, but it still works on Windows NT, the great ATMs that you get your money and your plastic little safe card that the banks gave you to get your money and charge you hell of money for this. So don't get me into this story about charging you for your money, more money, so you can get to your money. you see, the fun doesn't stop. So after conditioning all people that the last few years that Bitcoin and blockchain and all this stuff are only used by criminals, and they request now $4 million in ransom to let petrol go through the shitty infrastructure. They probably actually saved some people. They had to pay paid that they saved the USA environment and probably some workers of dying there again. So they now telling the big story of getting $2 million back in a multi-billion-dollar business, 4 million ransom, and this is the big story. 4 million. I think the CEO, or some guy there who owns this, his bed costs more than 4 million where he sleeps. The cars in the garage cost more than 4 million. We're talking about 4 million, not 4 billion. 4 million. 4 million is, you can't, I think, even buy an apartment in Malibu for this money. For 4 million. This is peanuts actually for most people, not me. And so this big story now about how they managed to track down bitcoins and taking it back and blah 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 and all this shit story. This is a perfect storm. This is so, I'm jumping here a bit around. So first of all, I told you, 2016 Wall Street, November 2016, you can read how shitty the infrastructure is, especially of this Colonial Pipeline company. They didn't do shit about last 5 years about the infrastructure. The last year, because of Corona, petrol, they made probably not enough money because the ships and everything, the whole petrol got not to zero, it got minus, it got even under the level, so they paid you money. So imagine you get into a gas station and you receive money to burn petrol. That's that the it's, if in simple terms, imagine that you're going with your car. Oh, I'm going to take, I don't know, 3 gallons, and the guy begs you, no, please take 10 gallons. I give you money. Just take 10 gallons somehow, and I pay you. You don't have to pay nothing. I pay you. So it was that bad for the oil companies, and now slowly it's getting back. What happened the last few months, half year, something? All the big players, big banks, big Wall Street players, every big company who has to do something with money. Swiss banks, if you like the story like that. Everybody wants now to jump on the train with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency altogether. But what's the problem? This cryptocurrency is thinner than air and it has more weight than gold. It is actually more expensive than gold. Absolutely nothing virtual, something is more expensive all of a sudden than gold. Gold that you have to have a physical, safe infrastructure to put it, you have to move it, it's heavy, it's this and that. All of a sudden, the customers actually requested, the millionaires, the guy who has the 1%, requesting now, hey, I want also bitcoins. I have so much money, I don't know where to put it. Apple, I need bitcoin to move it easier from A to B, from C to D, from the away from the what's the name, IRS to Ireland, and all these games. We could talk for hours about this. So, but what's the problem? It's reached 60,000, and if they start to buy it now, it would jump in a week to 100,000, or even, I don't know, 1,000,000. So if the people would, if the news today would be, every bank wants to jump into the Bitcoin, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency trading, blah blah blah, Bitcoin, whatever, it would jump like hell. And they don't want this. This is the worst thing that can happen if you're late on the train, on the money train. The train is gone and you're going down. So, you can call me crazy about conspiracies. Everything. Big conspiracies don't work like in the movies. They work completely different. And this now was the perfect storm, and it worked. Because adapting cryptocurrency, it started, and cryptocurrency started slowly, but it went up and up and up and up and up. And the big players don't want to buy it for the big price. They know they can push somehow down. So they took this this very important story of $4 million in cryptocurrency, which is nothing compared to the how much billion is it now? It's not even, I don't know, a fourth of a mining machine. So the $4 million in cryptocurrency, they took this story and blow it up like hell. Every news in the world, if you make some kind of news, this is like from a perfect advertising company. You can make bad news, any news, some news. The bigger the news, the more free the advertising. You don't pay nothing for advertising. It can be bad, good, who cares? You getting into newspaper, into news, they hungry for stories like this. And this is now the big story. $4 million in Bitcoin. The guy, the Dr. Evil, It's the same haircut as I do have. So now, what happened? Uh, Grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad who don't know about uh, cryptocurrency, but they hear it. That the last half year they hear about cryptocurrency starting to drop. Oh, they got, what's the name? Scarcity. Yeah, scarcity. This is the perfect story. So every mom and dad, uncle who did hear somehow and managed somehow that his nephew buys for him cryptocurrency is now selling it, and it's dropping like hell. It went down, I think, I don't know how much, but it went down. This is so perfect. So if I'm a big Wall Street player, I'm getting ready to buy. And I will buy it, but I will not buy it very open. I will buy it very slow, so the price is going to be very down. So who's clever and who's watching? Nobody will now report about where the Bitcoin moves from where to where and what to wallets and how much, because I know there are just a few wallets actually that actually already keep the most amount of the bitcoins by themselves, and the least amount is spread out to normal people around the world who buy and sell bitcoin. So this great story now pushes down the price of bitcoin. The Colonial Pipeline, who suffered not only for the already old infrastructure that is worth nothing, not nothing, it's worth something, but it's quite shitty, that got hacked. This is not a hack, this is just some malware that some dude opened up in the company, and the shitty IT infrastructure that I have already just maybe got blocked. Maybe nothing of that even happened. So now they blow this up, and for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going down, big players are ready to buy it because it's so cheap. It's, hey, from 60,000 almost to 20,000. This is paradise. After they buy this, slowly, I think, because they don't want to make too much noise, all of a sudden they already actually prepared, but now then they're going to offer Bitcoin. No, we are now in, sorry, not Bitcoin, in cryptocurrency. We are now in cryptocurrency. This company, this bank is for cryptocurrency, everything. You know, the same one who bashed cryptocurrency 4 years ago, that only criminals use cryptocurrency and everything, are jumping into cryptocurrency now and trading and all this stuff, and cryptocurrency, you know, all this. And then all these high big bank, big company liars and the news, CNN and all these Bloomberg and whatever companies, you know, the companies that always speak the truth to you, like that the coronavirus was from the market down the street of the biolab, level 4, and that Trump is bad and a racist, that he told that the Chinese laboratory was the fault, not some people around there, that he's a racist. And the news that brought you the last 30 years, all the great news about the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, you know, the weapons that are there, or I don't know, there, or somewhere around there. And the news that brought you so much truth about everything the last years. They pumping you now with the story of the cryptocurrency that got retrieved by the three-letter agencies that managed to do this by digital fingerprinting. With one story is more funnier than the next story. It's like 4 million ransom. $4 million. A multi-billion company and multi-billion cryptocurrency that actually the majority maybe is even controlled by the Chinese is now of all of a sudden, because going down because of $4 million in cryptocurrency. It's unsafe. We tell you, just believe it, and you believe it. The most people actually believe it. Because of that, this scarcity now is happening, and everything goes down. So the big players can now buy. I'm not sure quite how they do it, but as I told you, this is my theory. I will try a bit to get more what, where, why, and even if you see now, if you type in Google just actually Colonial Pipeline, you will need, depending how your skills are in searching over Google, from 10 minutes to an hour or maybe more to find the Colonial Pipeline story from 2016. But I'm telling you, I'm going to put even the link down there. Just go to Wall Street 2016 November story, Colonial Pipeline, infrastructure, bad as shit. That was 5 years ago. And so, please, stop swallow the stories that government's telling you. Stop swallowing stories about big news companies that are controlled by the 1% actually of rich people. And yeah, I know conspiracy and this stuff. If you're that rich, like a famous rapper Dr. Dre told, it's not the problem, or it's not hard to get rich, but to keep and stay rich. That's the hard part. Keeping it rich. Or probably some quote of him. I will find it somewhere and put the quote on it. So everything what the 99% of us is seeing, swallowing now. Yeah, I tell swallowing because they feed you with this shit, and most of the people are like swallowing, and everybody's scared. Oh my god, I bought my bitcoins or whatever cryptocurrency, it's falling down, my money is going away. Oh no, it's not going away. One bitcoin stays one bitcoin, but it's worth now less, and in a month or 2-3 years it's going to explode. I don't know, there's that part, but this is a big play of big players. We are small people, and don't let them trick you in anything. Keep together. Do it like they did on GameStop, like they do it now on AMC stocks. I think rebellion of the normal people is happening, and Luke Skywalker was a rebel. So keep it real. Don't get scared. Everything is going to turn somehow. It has to turn. It's the age of changes, and every government, every country, every civilization, once in a few thousand years or 100 years, has a big turnaround. And maybe it's knocking already on the door, but the governments know it, and they are scared to let it in, because the the most fear of people in power is not money, is the losing of power. This is, believe me, if you're once in power, this is much worse than losing money. Money, if you're in power, you can get always money. But if you're losing the power, you're losing everything. You know history, many of them lose their heads. So, keep it real. See you and buy cryptocurrency.